Hey, HMR Creations here, and this is going to be the very first art vlog for the channel. This art vlog is going to center entirely around the webcomic. I'm going to talk about everything pertaining to the webcomic but the plot, because I feel like if I talk about the plot, I would spoil all the twists and turns that the comic would have to offer. I don't want to do that to you guys. Anyways, onto the vlog itself. I want to make something clear right now. Chapter 2 is still happening. Obviously, if it weren't happening, this video wouldn't exist, but the only reason I haven't uploaded the comic or chapter 2 when I said I would is because I lost my motivation, and I feel like if I lose my motivation, it takes a long time to get it back, like at least a month, but now that I have it back, I decided that I'm going to draw the comic in a more traditional comic book page format, like with panels and stuff. And the reason I'm doing that is because I feel like if I draw everything in this format and not in the format that I've been using for chapter 1, I would get a lot more work done in a smaller amount of time, and I would be able to stick to the schedule that I intended, which is once every other Friday. The comic is going to be character driven, and the reason why the comic is going to be character driven is because I feel like character driven stories are much more realistic than plot driven stories. Let me explain. I feel like if you write a story that is character driven, it feels like these people are leading and writing the story of their own lives, and as such, they are driving the overarching story as a whole. And with plot-driven stories, it feels like, oh, the characters are moving on with their lives and doing things because the plot demands it, and it usually feels very forced, and I don't want any part of this comic to feel forced. Another thing I want to say is I am not going to pander to anyone with this comic. This entire comic is going to be my uncensored vision, and I don't want to feel like I'm being a jerk saying that, because obviously I do care about what people think about the webcomic. I want this comic to be big, but I also want the comic to feel like it's me. It's what I intended the comic to be, not what someone else wanted the comic to be. So I'm going to take all the risks that I can take with this comic. I'm going to do whatever I want with this comic. And any single thing that happens to the characters is of my own volition. It's going to be there because I intended it that way. I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but basically any single decision that I'm going to make for this webcomic is going to be my own, not anyone else's. Now, I will accept criticism on how I can execute stuff, but as far as plot points go, and as far as characters go, it's all going to be me. I'm not going to take anyone's input. I also want to make this very clear. I want to make the comic as diverse as I possibly can in every single sense of the word. Keep that in mind as more characters are introduced and more details about the characters are introduced. I don't want to leave anybody out. I'm basically going to take all the shots with diversity because I want the comic to be diverse. We live in a diverse world, and I want the characters to be very realistic, even if the story really isn't. And the story isn't going to be realistic, but I'm not going to go into the story right now. You'll find out about the story once you read the comic as it goes along. I'm honestly very surprised that the comic has the amount of subscribers it has now. Like, I didn't expect to get any subscribers for the first chapter, but here I am sitting here with almost 10 subscribers, and I know that's a very small amount, and the number could be much bigger, but I just want to say thank you so much to those who have subscribed. You guys are the reason that I stay motivated and I want to work on the comic, especially this user called Yui Arahio, I think is how you pronounce it. Yui, your comments on all my posts have kept me motivated. To know that someone cares about what I'm doing that much is just so uplifting and so motivating. And even though I'm not going to pander to you most of the time, I really wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you so much. Really. I appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoy the comic as it goes along. I hope that you continue to stick around for any of the future updates, because this story, even though it's character driven, the story is going to be big. So big, like I have so many plans. So many plans. And I can't wait to expose my plans to you all. Because I think you guys would like it. Like, I've been working on this story for 4 years now, before I actually started publishing. I've had the story in my head for such a long time, and I finally got the courage to update it. Not to update it, to publish it online for people's consumption. Because I was kind of inspired by something a famous person said to publish the comic. This is going to sound really corny, but I was really inspired by this guy named Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's the guy that made the musical Hamilton, and when talking about the production of Hamilton, he mentioned that he wanted to get his story out there because he didn't want the story to sit in his head forever. Because if your story sits in your head forever, then it's just gonna go to waste. You have to let your story out there to the public, because your story shouldn't be contained in your head. You have to expose it to other people. And hearing him say that really inspired me to actually start publishing the comic in the first place. If I hadn't heard a quote like that, then the comic wouldn't be online in the first place. So I'm probably not making any sense right now, but kind of like with my last video, this video is unscripted. This recording was a lot shorter than I really wanted it to be, but this is really all I wanted to say. I hope this helped in some way, shape, or form, and thanks for watching. I hope you tune in for the next video. Bye-bye. See you later.